Maybe this is the key
What's the key?
to a good podcast from us.
Just come to my
Delirium.
house, wake me up. I'm clapped out. I've got a coffee here.
Are we starting?
Yeah, we're here. This is
right.
it. It's recording. We're
Okay.
on.
Wow.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the podcast again. Almost didn't make it today. I can't even keep my eyes open.
You had a fucking calendar invite and everything. I reminded you last night.
It's not that I forgot about the pod. It's that I woke up. Look, I can't even think right now. I fell asleep at about 3 a.m. And
You look stoned.
I've got real troubles with my sleep lately. And I think it's just because we got so much going on. And
We are in I think this weekend is the first time that I said this to you on Saturday. For anyone that's not in the wedding industry, and I hate it when people talk about this, like in other jobs, like, like teachers, and it's, I need school holidays. Like, do you? But, sorry.
I've got
a lot of my friends are teachers. But do you know when people like talk about stuff and they're like, oh, you know, we get to the end of term and kids are delirious and we're tired. Like, I get it. Because we are in the depths of wedding
hell.
End of wedding season hell. And I know that sounds very negative, but like you
in a good way. No, we're so busy.
Yeah.
That it's like, and
which is great, but then your body is dying.
Yeah. And it's, you know what? It's like when you hear about it, you hear these, you know, wedding people talk about it. It's like, what do you mean? You guys work on the weekend.
Correct.
And it's like, no, you have no idea. We have way more work to do during the week. Yeah. And it's so, you know, it's you know what it is? It's a compounding job.
Yeah.
So every wedding that you film or photograph, you've now just added about 3 weeks worth of work onto your weekly schedule. However, you've just filmed or photographed 12 other weddings in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, 6 weeks or whatever. And it's just like, oh my God, my calendar's looking crazy.
Yeah, I think it's the like overwhelm of what we have to come. So we were saying this, it's hard because obviously we're so busy, and then over winter is like, fuck, where's the money coming in? But we have so much work to do. And even though we've been paid for it, it's like we feel like we're working for free.
Yeah.
But it's also...
That like, meme is, there's like literally memes like that are just so popular. It's like when you rock up to a wedding and you're doing it for free.
It is so true. But yeah, on Saturday I was like, this is the first... I don't know how to explain the feeling, but like we get a wedding hangover, we call it anyway. And like we did a massive day on Saturday. The weather wasn't too bad, thank God. It was the first not 40-degree day. But you just feel like everything was just, I'm just exhausted. Like my brain hurts, my body hurts. And then the day after I backed it up with Italian christening and a newborn shoot. And I got home after that and I swear like I was just zombie.
So you had, just for context, you had a 14-hour wedding day, and then the next morning you're going to a christening.
Get home and get to bed at like 2 a.m. and then get up and go to an Italian christening, which for anyone that's never been to an Italian christening is essentially a wedding. And then after that, I did a newborn shoot an hour and a half away from where the christening was. And then I got home to the kids. So it was a real relaxing weekend for me.
You sound like you had a weekend that I have. Like this weekend, I'm flying out to Melbourne, which will be fun. Going to go film for Karting Australia. And it's like, that's what that feels like to me. Like, I absolutely love filming for karting, but it's, you know, like I leave at 6 a.m. on Friday. I get to the track at probably, 10 a.m. and it will just be filming all the way to probably 6 p.m. And then it's, oh no, you're not done. Like quickly have some dinner, but jump on the computer. We need to bang out some edits. And then Saturday morning, it'll be like, you know, Tiff, love her to bits. She'll be like, hey, hun, you know, wake up tomorrow at 5:30 because we need to get to the track at 6. And I'm like, what? What do you mean?
Do you know I don't get up before 8? Who are you? Don't tell me what to do.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
It's true. But yeah, it's a good thing because we have been so busy, and I do love it. And it is scary looking forward because our, you know, weddings don't really start again until September. But it's also like we're grateful for it, but it's trying to find a way to manage that. And I don't think I've ever, like in all seriousness, I don't think I've ever had an editing backlog as big as I have right now.
Yeah.
And I don't know, because I've been busy before, but it's just, I think because obviously I have another job and there's other things going on and kids and all of that. But fuck, it's overwhelming.
It's a lot. Yeah.
And we can get it done and we will get it done.
You know
But
what, I do this I'm just in my head. I start to think like, we obviously do this every year. I've been, you've been doing it for 36,000 years or
forever.
something.
I'm a, what's the word? Can you like pause it?
You're like
Wait.
We don't even need to pause. I'm going to keep going. But you're you are someone that's been doing this for a long time, and I'm on my 7th year. I think going into my 8th year now. But like this next season coming up, I have already thought to myself, I'm going to do things differently next year, because I don't enjoy. It's not that I don't enjoy it. I don't like the backlog. The backlog kills me.
The backlog is hard. And
by backlog, for people who aren't wedding people, we're just talking about like when we film and photograph a wedding, we can't really start that wedding because 12 weeks ago we did another wedding and that wedding's due. So we're editing that wedding. And then from there is a wedding almost every weekend that needs to be done. And
then after a wedding, like photo side, you have I always give a preview the week after, which is usually about 100 photos, which is not quick, but I will always do it. And yeah, it's just a lot. But like you said, we've been to so many weddings and been doing this for a long time. Some may call me a boomer.
Boomer.
Apparently, it's been a little rule that's fired me up lately about that one. But anyway,
let's hear it.
Certain is photographer living in the same state as us who does ruffle my feathers constantly. But anyway, just because you're a boomer doesn't mean you don't know what you're doing. But
you really identified with the boomer comment.
Oh, look, I am a boomer. I'm not denying it. It doesn't mean we don't know how to do our jobs properly. And, sometimes the experience helps more when these certain people say what they say and do what they do at weddings. But anyway, that's for another day. And if you can figure out who that is, then good for you. But I've also had, there's been a few things at weddings lately. We were going to talk about weddings, but here we are.
Let's
that really again, maybe me being a boomer and I'm used to things being a certain way, but like people, guests predominantly, I must say, the level of self-awareness people have at weddings has declined immensely. So,
or I know what you're about to talk about, or the gratification, I think is the right word, of being able to quickly put something online is what's primarily,
Well, I think we talked about it a bit with the content creation side of things and how that's obviously becoming a big thing, which, since our podcast, I have tried to educate myself a bit better and I do understand it. I really do. And there's different opinions on everything, which is good. And again, I'm all for everyone doing what they want, but I think what I'm talking about specifically is something happened again on the weekend. And honestly, I think probably our last month, I can pick a few people from every single wedding that this has happened. And I guess looking at, I don't know if people know what an unplugged ceremony is, but a lot of people are opting for an unplugged ceremony, or couples will opt for that, which is essentially no phones at a ceremony, and just be present. So
Can we take a second to really think about that? That the idea of having to announce or put on invitation cards at a ceremony.
Make a whole sign for it.
A sign to be like, hey guys, can you drop your addiction for a moment, get off your phones and actually be at our wedding? If you think about that, that is insane.
It is insane. And it goes even just in general day-to-day life. Like, we should be unplugged more often.
Yeah.
And do you know how hard it is? And that's why I get it, because it is very hard.
Do you want to hear the contrary? Like, I think about it like this. Like, right now I'm doing like some other stuff. Like, I said to you recently, I said, maybe we need to actually be a bit more addicted to our phones and build personal brands, like in terms of like moving forward with socials and stuff. But it's like yesterday I had like a pretty packed day of like going out to lunch with beautiful people. We went to somewhere really nice, had nice food. And then, I went for a hike with Marlo, did this and that. And I'm like, oh, should I be taking photos of this stuff and putting it on? Because that's what everyone's doing nowadays. I'm not there. Like when I'm there, I want to be there.
And that's good. That's good, because that's, where do we draw the line? Because I get what you're saying. I listened to a podcast the other day about, because obviously I'm starting a new business as well. And trying to like, it's a completely different business to anything I've ever had.
Right.
And the whole thing in the podcast I listened to was how people buy from people, essentially. So
Right.
having your face in it is something I've not ever been good with my other businesses as well. But this type of business that we're starting, they're saying like that's what people want these
It's a
days
selling
is
point.
people want to see people and people buy from that. And I get it because I do it myself. But I guess the thing is that where do we draw the line? Like we are never unplugged 24/7. We have our phones constantly. And I try to make a conscious effort. I really, really do. When like if I'm with my partner or my friends or whatever, I try to put my phone down. It is difficult sometimes, but it's just a habit. But I think the thing at weddings, and I guess from a photographer and videographer perspective, is that when we see an unplugged ceremony, for us, it is such a benefit to the couple. So
Right.
what usually happens is the celebrant, priest, whoever it is, will announce that, you know, you've got professionals here today. We're here to do this. Stay in the moment, blah, blah, blah. It's not just about staying in the moment. It's about completely respecting what the couples need and want. Because, for example, on Saturday, we literally was standing in the middle of the aisle ready for the first kiss. And this is fucking hilarious and somewhat blows my mind that I can't even believe this happened. But like that moment for us is quite stressful because it's like you've probably got 5 seconds to get this.
Yeah, and we were in
We had everything
very
thrown at
dark
us.
ceremony.
Dark church, people everywhere. The light was terrible. Like we had to get it. And then here we are, ready to go. And then no shit, the groomsman of all people ripped his phone out and stuck it directly in front of our cameras to record video of the first kiss. Now, here's where I stand with this.
It was on Snapchat.
Yeah,
I think I can see it.
But like where I stand with this is that number one, I can edit that, but I shouldn't fucking have to. Okay?
Yeah, well, I can't edit
and that's what I mean. Video can't edit that. So basically now that couple have their groomsman's fucking phone in their face during their first kiss. But photo, I can do it, but I shouldn't have to. So what I mean by that is that, yes, we can edit certain things. Certain things are very hard, some are easy. But why should we have to spend even more time?
I don't even think the questioning should be on our side. The questioning should be, hey guys, like, I don't know.
But where's your level of awareness that
It's
that's
not even
a good
like
thing?
I think like take a few steps back even from there. It's like what I think about it a lot. You know, I speak to my auntie and uncle about it quite a bit about like phone because you look at you bring up your phone, go to your screen. You know what? Let's have a look at our screen time right now. No, mine is going to be disgusting.
How do you even check that?
So you go settings and then you scroll down and then it's a purple icon called screen time. Click that and you tell me. You got it? All right, let's read these out and let's be honest.
Wait. This week?
And click back to last week.
Oh, week. Okay.
You really are a boomer.
Shut up.
Hold on. This is probably why I'm not. This is disgusting. So for the week, last week's average, I'm on my phone 6 hours and 21 minutes a day.
Okay. I thought it'd be worse than that. It's not that bad.
No, this is where it's disgusting. Total screen time last week is 44 hours and 30 minutes. Dude, that's 2 whole days.
That you're on your phone. So I shouldn't laugh.
If I scroll down and you look at like what's the biggest app?
What's your biggest one?
What's yours?
Messages?
Hold on, what's your total screen time for the week?
I can't find it.
Let me see.
Oh.
Yeah, boom. Now scroll back up. Hit me. What's the number?
What was yours?
6 hours 21.
6 hours 55.
Oh, you're worse than me.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. And top 3 apps.
Total screen time, 48 hours and 25 minutes.
That's disgusting.
So most used is Messages and Instagram.
Mine's TikTok and Instagram.
Messages, Mail and Instagram, which actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, but you know what? One of them is Google Maps and it says 5 hours, and that's not fair because Google Maps I just put on in my car and it tells me to go somewhere. I wasn't really on my phone.
That's pretty crazy though.
It's honestly, it genuinely, I'm not even kidding, it makes me sick. Like I see that and I actually feel sick.
Look, interesting. This is fascinating. And like my fourth one is Chat GPT because I've been using that a lot more for work, which is good. But that makes a lot of sense. Messages, I'm constantly messaging people. Instagram is an absolute fucking time waster. Mail
By the
and
way,
Chat
can we talk about that?
GPT.
Not only is Instagram a time waster, when it comes to our analytics for the website and stuff, we get Instagram is so insignificant when it comes to like traffic and things like that in comparison to Facebook. Even though I hate Facebook and never use Facebook, I don't understand it. I don't understand how
Facebook is very much a boomer. Well, this is the other thing. Like Facebook is there's an age demographic. So Facebook is certainly the boomer age, which is interesting because that's where a lot of like older people are going. But in saying that, when we get inquiries, most of them are seeing our ads on Facebook, which is random because I don't use Facebook much at all. But
you say random ever since the start for the whole 7 years that I've ever done Meta ads and whatever. Obviously, it's a bit hard because Facebook bought Instagram like a couple of years ago, but like 95% of traffic that comes to my website is Facebook.
Yeah, it's insane.
22 Wedding Films and BradandKarina.com.
But do you know what's funny? Like the not research because I bullshit, but everything I've read and listened to, and I've gone over the top with it lately, as I said, because of the new business, because my new business is a product-based business. So what they're saying is TikTok is the best. You have to be on TikTok because that's where the majority of your business will come from, which makes sense because that's what comes up. Whereas for us, well, for me especially, it's probably easier being a photographer. Instagram's more about the photos and the visual side of things rather than as much information. So for me, it's a lot easier to post on Instagram because it's there. Like if I want to go buy something, I go to the Instagram feed because I'm a visual person.
You know what's so funny? I have never used Instagram as a search engine, but I use TikTok as a search engine. For example, if I'm looking for a product or something, the reason why I search on TikTok is because there'll be 20 videos there and it'll be people comparing it against other things.
Isn't it funny? And that's fascinating because I see TikTok for me is my time waster. Like TikTok is my...
What do you search when you're going on a holiday and you need to find places
Instagram.
to do? Wow, I do TikTok.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
We really are a different generation.
No, we are.
Wow.
100%. No, but that's what I said. Like Instagram for me, I doom scroll, but I more use Instagram as research for stuff. Like if I want to go out, like we're going out to lunch today, I go on Instagram. Someone even said this the other day. What do you
type in on Instagram?
You just type whatever you want. Like we're going to Vietnam this year and I like go on there and type stuff like places to go in Vietnam, top food spots, whatever, and then it just comes up.
I find that the reason why I don't use it is when you search in the search bar, it doesn't auto-populate like ideas and things where TikTok does.
It does. Well, when I do it, it
really?
certainly does. Yeah, because you go to when you type that in, it will give you like accounts, reels, tags. There's all these different things.
Is there, I understand, but when you type in, like, say on Google, and you're like best places to eat in Adelaide, it'll be like the is this or that is that, or like it kind of gives you these prompted suggestions.
Yeah.
And
look, there's certain things that are better and worse, but I don't know. I think it just depends on what you're using it for.
Yeah.
So like a lot of people will doom scroll Instagram reels and stuff, which I'm guilty of, but TikTok is that for me. Like I don't go to TikTok to try and find places to eat or stuff like that. I should potentially, but like I use that as a means to shut off and watch dumb videos that sometimes I'm embarrassed to even admit that I watch because it's like I can switch off and don't think. But I also love TikTok because I don't fucking know anyone on there. Like it's so random and I don't have to see anyone's like Instagram perfect lives when you're feeling like shit. Like it's such a thing.
It's actually a good point to bring up of like so there's a couple of businesses and even in Adelaide that have gone kind of like I never, you know, it's hard when people are like, oh, I've gone viral or whatever, it does not mean that it's I guess transferring over to your business. Like
not at all.
You could have like for example, we had millions of people when we this is how much it's worth to me. I don't even do the clips anymore because I don't care. And it's like the podcast stuff. When we first started, I was clipping a lot of the things that we were saying and putting it online, and you'd get 3-4 million views on these things.
Crazy.
And people would be like, oh my god, that's crazy. And I'm like, guess what? It doesn't do anything.
But I was just gonna, exactly. We've got the numbers on there. But that's the thing. You can go and buy Instagram followers. Do you know how many people? Like, I would love to know how many people have bought. Yeah, you can genuinely go online and buy Instagram followers.
But how does that even?
It's
Who's
unbelievable.
following you?
It randoms, probably fucking fake account. Who knows? But there are people that just want their there are businesses absolutely out there that would have gone and purchased Instagram followers, and because you go, like, let's be honest, you go onto pages and to see their credibility, you'll look at how many followers they have.
Right.
So bad, because that's just how we're trained.
Right.
And if someone's got 5,000 followers to someone who's got 200 followers, then you go, oh, okay, well, maybe.
It's almost like a value proposition that
Absolutely.
your brain does, where you go, well, they're worth more.
Correct. But like, what I'll say is, like, my followers for my photo business, they're all genuine followers.
Mm-hmm.
So do all of them look at my shit? Absolutely not. But they're not just random people from fucking China. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're people that have followed my page from people that have followed my page or seen stuff or whatever. But what I'm saying is, there are businesses out there that like, it's wild. You can go on and you can buy 500 followers and it probably costs you like $14.
What?
Yeah, it's insane.
It makes me laugh because when I first started my personal account, like I posted a lot of travel stuff, so like a lot of New Zealand and a lot of Thailand, and that travel stuff years ago, I'm talking like 10 years ago, got quite a few followers. Look, when I say quite a few, I'm talking like, I think like just over 2,000 followers or something. And like, some people are like, oh, you have so many followers on your personal account. I'm like, it's so. I find it, like, for me personally, like, because I'm like, I don't even know these people.
Yeah,
they
correct.
started following me from like New Zealand stuff and Thailand stuff.
Yeah, but they're following you from stuff that they obviously want to see as well. So
right, but now that I post like wedding stuff and videography stuff, it's like they're not my audience.
And this, like, I think that's a really interesting one too, because like, there's so much your audience. So like, our audience for photos and video, there are some people that don't want to watch it. Fine. Don't watch it. Same as my personal stuff. Like, my account's private. If you don't want to see my stuff, don't watch it. Like, if I post stuff that's annoying to you, stop following me. I don't care. Like, same as me. I'm not going to go watch something I don't want to watch or look at it. And I think we've had this conversation recently about, may have mentioned it previously, but just, there's a photographer out there in the last few months that has come up regularly, can't even say it, regularly in my feed. And the content started making me furious. And I'm like, I don't follow this person. They just come up because they fucking post 7 million videos a day.
Yeah.
But it's in the same industry as us. It essentially just goes against everything I've ever believed in our industry. And the reason it rubs me the wrong way is, it's just everything, in my opinion, and it doesn't mean it's right or wrong, but in my opinion, it's just everything that's wrong in this industry. And our industry has changed so much, and there are, it is flooded. We have so many photographers and videographers.
Yeah.
You fucking own a camera and you're a professional photographer these days. And it does make it very difficult for the people that have obviously, been there for so long, doing what we do, and we have the experience, and it's great. Like, obviously, like any industry, you need people to come in, new fresh people, and etc. But then this certain person is just like, he's so fucking rude. He's just opinionated. The videos I see of things that happen at weddings blows my mind. It is so unprofessional. It is so disgusting, and it doesn't upset me. It just makes me angry, because of, I guess, we are the complete opposite. Like, to me, a wedding day is such a personal, special thing, and something that, you spend months and months, sometimes years planning. You invest thousands of dollars into this day, and it's something that, it sometimes more than once in a lifetime, but it's like once in a lifetime type thing where you want it to be right. And, this person seems to do it as a viral, like, it's for the likes and for the followers and for the audience.
Yeah.
So I guess my point is that initially, and it still does ruffle my feathers, but that's his crowd. And the people that he's shooting weddings for. And I've told you this
like a million times, because I think about it like this. Like, I was talking to a commercial videographer the other day about it, and they bring it up, and they were like, "What do you think of this?" And their like point of view was like, who would want that at their wedding? And by the way, I'm not. I just want to be very clear. I don't. Look, I find it interesting.
Yeah.
And
well, do you know what's funny? We talk about it. So we don't follow him, and it's always there. So from a marketing perspective, he's very smart.
yeah. So that was the point.
He gets into the face of everybody without even trying.
But that is like I think about it like this. Like it's like nobody likes to talk about, but like some people do, but like politics, right? Politics is very volatile. It's very it causes people to feel a certain way and whatever, and people tend to avoid it. And the topics that he talks about or brings up is very much topics that would, like you said, it's like you see it and you're like, what the fuck? What are you on about? So in terms of social media, the reason why I find it interesting, and I've never met him. I've never spoken to him.
I have.
And but like my point of view is this: like I think I'd be very interested in talking to him, and I'll tell you why. Because I think that he is doing social media. He is doing social media how social media is designed to be done.
Oh, absolutely.
The way
and kudos to him because he's got a following from it.
But then this is back to our point previously, right? Yeah. I think like I was going to talk about this before, but you kept on talking, which is fine. But it's like it's like what does it mean to, like, for example, like what does it mean to have, say, 1,000 followers to 5,000 followers to 20,000 followers to 50,000 followers? And I was thinking about this the other day, and I was like, I came across a Adelaide wedding videographer that's quite new, and he's got something like 450 followers. And I remembered, like, I didn't see that because I was on like the Reels section. I'm like, this guy's work is absolutely stunning. Like, yeah. I'm watching it and I'm like, oh God, this is someone that's new. This is pretty cool. Like, yeah. I get inspired by it. I'm like, look at this guy's work. And then I go onto his page and he's got 400 and something followers, and I'm like, why did my brain go, ugh? Like, why has he only got 400 followers?
Exactly.
And my point is, when I say he's doing social media right, and I don't know what his end goal is in terms of like whether or not he wants to stay in the wedding industry and, be producing products, or whether or not it's a personal brand building thing, because, certain people want to do like a personal brand because they're very focused on, what he might want to do something else in the future. Yeah. And I'm curious to know what his goals are, because like I think about it like I personally sell product. So like the work and the stuff that goes out on my socials, absolutely not viral stuff. It's people's weddings. But, correct. I might have some photographers or videographers DM me and be like, dude, that like your color grading on your last project's amazing, blah, blah, blah. I don't think
we don't use that stuff for clickbait. By the way,
we can just say the name. Everyone knows who we're talking about. But like Josh, right? It's like, I think, no, I'm serious. I don't think people that hire him go like, oh, the work's stunning. And I don't mean that in a rude way.
No,
I'm just saying it's not.
They're hiring a person.
Exactly. And you said this before, and that's what I mean by like you doing, some people do social media in a different way that has different goals, and it's like, well, I'm not sure he's selling product. There's barely any product stuff.
Oh, well, do you know what? And that's hilarious you say that, because every single piece of social media content I've ever seen from him is always his face. I've never seen him post about his work. And that's why I brought up the whole personal brand thing, because like he's very successful at being a personal brand. Hey, kudos to him with what he's done, 100%. And fuck, if you want to come sit on this couch, I will sit here and happily have a conversation with you. Yeah, Josh, if you're listening to this, come sit down with us. In all seriousness, like that's the thing. I'm not having a dig. What I'm saying is, from my perspective in this industry, it upsets me because I'm the opposite to him. And that is absolutely not a right or a wrong thing. He's not right. I'm not right. Vice versa. But I take so much pride in how we work with our couples, the experience that we give them, the way we treat them, and the work that we produce for them are some things that we take so much pride in. And on some levels, you and I are trying to sell ourselves, because we are also, you're not getting a company, you're getting Brad or Karina and Karina. Right. So we're trying to sell ourselves because we want to give you a personal experience from us, but we also want to give you what we can give you in the sense of high quality photo and video, and put that effort into it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So like telling someone to fuck off on a wedding day on a microphone at a reception, irks me because it blows my mind that would even happen. And like weddings are meant to be
But
fun.
I think this is why I would like to talk. That's the point.
Absolutely.
I think the point, but it's weird to be like, yeah, it's
But do you reckon
strange.
he does
for us.
it to get people like me to get riled up, or do you think he?
Well, that's where in my head I go. If the goal, like, I just want to know what the goal is. If the goal is to book more weddings, and I'll be very honest. His weddings, if you look at the actual work, very different demographic to what we would book.
Absolutely.
Right, and I wonder whether or not, like, the demographic that he's booking is they don't mind. They don't really. It's not, it's a different demographic, right?
Absolutely.
There is not a chance in hell that the weddings that we would cover would go down that route. But I was thinking about this the other day, where I'm like, oh wow, it's a demographic that hasn't been really talked to before.
No, not at all.
In the wedding industry, because the wedding industry. So this is the point.
Yeah,
I think he is. I think it's very smart. And I think it's, this way of being like, oh, it's interesting. You come into the wedding industry. Let's say you come in for the first time, you kind of go like, oh, there's kind of like this luxury vibe about it. Like, oh, we're, and he makes jokes about it. And I think it's actually hilarious.
Yeah,
like, I laugh at it because I'm like, oh, that's actually funny.
Oh, there's some things he posts that are funny. Absolutely.
Because it's like the idea is to mock the I guess the what is it called? Like we charge this much and we're important. Yeah, I get it. I get the
look. When you say it like that, I do get that, and I like that. Like, I respect to him for
going
that.
against the status quo.
Correct. And there is a real, like, we don't want to be cookie cutter approach to a wedding, but at the end of the day, a wedding is a serious thing, and I think there's a fine line between that and, like, we have fun on a wedding day.
This is where I would play devil's advocate with you, is if you're having a wedding at a pub.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, absolutely.
Or you're having a wedding somewhere that you're spending, $300 per head, very different demographic.
Absolutely.
The value of what that wedding means to you is going to be very different between those two demographics.
Correct. Yeah. Oh, absolutely agree with you. I think, look, I've come to realize that it is very much, a personal choice, and people want certain things. I get that. I think, like I said, it's just I feel like it's disrespectful to the industry in some way. And that's what's probably irked me a bit. And I'm over it. And again, kudos to him. He's taken 20 minutes of our podcast time because we have clearly gotten into his social media suffocation, I like to call it, because he's fucking everywhere and I don't even follow him.
Yeah.
So he's done well in that sense, is that obviously he's getting out the way he needs to get out. But again, me seeing his face constantly is too much, because I don't think I 100% can tell you, I don't think I've genuinely ever seen a photo that he has taken posted. It's always been his face. And that's good, because he's selling a personal brand, but he's also selling a product. Like, how do people, like, obviously they've got websites and stuff like that, but if you're constantly just seeing his face and not what he can do for you, if you want someone to be a comedian at your wedding and swear at your guests, then he's doing the right advertising, but you want to see what he's actually producing as well. So I think that's where the whole product-based businesses, like personal face of each business on your socials, you got to have balance. Like, for my new business, yes, we need to get our faces in there, but I also need to get what we are selling you in there as well.
Right. But what I'm saying is that from his point of view, he would say, no, I don't have to do that because, well, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know what his numbers are. I don't know how many weddings he's doing.
Absolutely.
I don't know what the budget is for these weddings, but it's just fascinating because, like, there is, and Josh, if you're listening to this, which I don't know if you would, but someone might tag in this, but it's like, I think, like, I'd be interested in talking to him. I genuinely would.
Oh,
and I think, I do think there is, what my point, just to close this out, is I do think that the demographic of people that are getting married, there are people that value different things, and there is absolutely, and you see this in the comments, and you see this, with I think he was like kicked out of certain like photography groups and stuff and whatever, and to his, like, this is where I'll give him a lot of credit, right? Is when we first started this podcast, we were talking about very personal things and very just non-wedding related stuff, and we clipped them, and that's what kind of got a lot of attention. However, it didn't bring much business to us. It was very much like, yes, like we might get millions of views on these clips, but I was looking at you going, why does this? I don't even care about this. Like that's not my goal. My goal is to get bookings from people that we actually want to work with, right? And the thing that I'll give him credit for is when we were doing that, because we're putting a lot of personal stuff out there on the internet, and he does too, is there was a ton of comments where like some of them got me, where I'm like, oh, I don't like that, or I don't want people to think this about me. But he obviously genuinely
doesn't give a fuck,
doesn't care, and that's very.
But
like,
it's good.
Some people love that,
absolutely.
And that's that's each person's prerogative. But it's like, one thing that I'll give him credit for is like to put that kind of content out there. You're asking for it. You're asking for a lot of trouble. And I actually admire. For example, like I just started a YouTube channel, and I'm putting videos up of me, giving an actual shit about what I do and talking about it. And there's been comments that have come up online that I'm like, I'm removing this comment. I fucking hate that or
but
whatever.
You know
and he can deal with it, which is great. I think that's great.
He sits there. Did you know that's probably one of the only things I do like is I've seen reels that he's popped up, and he will literally sit there and read his comments and what people have said, and then he'll react to them in a very rude way.
We actually thought about doing that when we first started the pod, where I'm like, should we respond to these comments that, calling me gay and all this, all this stuff?
But it's like, where do you draw the line? Like, he just takes the piss out of it. So, yeah, look, I get what you're saying, and I am 100% each to their own. I truly, truly am. And let's just be very clear that my opinion on this doesn't matter, but my opinion on this is solely based on how I feel about the industry and the love and heart and soul that we put into every single wedding. And I'm not saying he doesn't, but I'm just saying like it means so much to us and to me that our clients have the product and the memories and everything that they deserve. And like on a wedding day, we want them to be comfortable with us. How many times have we said it? Don't book us if you're not comfortable with us, because we're there with you every second of every day. And if you want someone like him or you want someone like us, then that's the couple's choice. But I just want there to be, I feel like, and this is probably not a good way to describe it, but I just feel like that sort of approach cheapens the brand. So not the brand, cheapens the industry so much.
Yeah, see, where I actually disagree with this, and I would say that we are not in the same game as him.
Nah,
completely. Like there is it's very.
Look, maybe we need to take some lessons from him in terms of social media. I don't know, and it's such a funny thing.
I think, look, just going back to like social media stuff, is like, look, I think the idea of, even us doing this podcast right now, talking about this whole thing is what is different, where a lot of people might go, I don't like what he does, but they're not willing to actually be like, hey, have a conversation about it or talk about it.
Like I said to you, if he wants to come and sit here, I'd love to. And we've spoken about this with different things in the industry, like, that thing that pissed me off on the weekend with a groomsman putting his phone in front of my camera. Like, that's my personal opinion. And I would happily sit down with a guest and get their perspective.
If Josh was doing that wedding, he probably would have grabbed the phone and threw it.
Yeah, but that's the thing. But that's where
that's where I find him funny.
Absolutely. And that's where I have respect for him, because he probably does things that I want to do but I'm too scared to do.
Right.
I would love nothing more than to put that fucking photo on the internet, which potentially I might, but like just to prove a point that this is not okay for the couples. Whereas he would literally, if he had his fucking
he probably say, "Hey, get the fuck out my way."
He would grab that camera from that groomsman mid-ceremony and throw it over the side of the room. Yeah. I wanted to do that, but I don't have the balls to do that. So yes, in that sense, good on him. So yeah, there's so many sides to this, but I guess at the end of the day, when we go back to
I do wonder, like, and this is what I would love to ask him is like, do you like the most recent ones where he's like wearing Crocs and I think he's in the airport and he was talking about like, this is how I'm rocking up to tomorrow's wedding in shorts or whatever. I can't, maybe that's not even what he was saying, but anyway, sometimes I wonder, I'm like, is this a what is it?
Is this persona, or is it
like he posts it and the because I think about it like this: engagement is what pushes your socials.
100%.
And if you're posting things that are very like people get triggered by, or they're like, I don't like this or whatever, that's just pushing the
Clickbait,
algorithm.
100%.
It's very fascinating.
It is fascinating. And yeah, look, anyway, it is what it is. It's just fascinating to me. And I guess it's one of those things that we just come across a lot. But yeah, I guess back to what we're talking about, just having that, I guess it's that unplugged side of life. Even we need to unplug a little bit, which we need to take that. But it does blow my mind that we actually have to remind people to do that these days. But I guess from our perspective, if you are getting married and considering an unplugged ceremony, it's a great idea. I was against it at first, to be honest. I'm like,
full circle. Surely
we have to don't have to do that. But now being on the side we're on and how fucking, present phones and devices are, like,
Notice we talk about everything that's related to like phones, and it's like the content creators, and it's Josh with his
and maybe like I will put my hand up and admit I am a fucking boomer and I am old. Like I get that, but it doesn't mean.
Hey Josh, she got real triggered by that.
Don't call me a fucking boomer. I'm already having issues with my age, so to push me even further, all these fucking 20-year-olds coming into the industry, clearly I'm triggered. But it doesn't mean we're not, passionate and good at what we do. But I guess it's just one of those things. I have to accept what it is. However, as a couple, if you want, memories without all that shit in it, I think it's important to have people try and be present. So,
well, what are your plans? For the well, I'm thinking I've got bloody
karting.
Karting this weekend. I'm fly out to Melbourne, 6 a.m. flight, which is just going to kill me. But
you'll probably book a fucking hotel at the airport again.
Yeah, I probably will. I'm going to be there at like do I have to be there at like 4:45?
Oh, it's only domestic, so maybe an hour before.
Yeah, 5 a.m.
Just check in online, chuck your bag in, you'll be fine.
Yeah, and then I'm going to Japan in 3 weeks from now. 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, that's wild.
3 weeks from now, I think.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I'm off to Japan for 3 weeks.
That's wild. Well, wedding season has definitely it's at the end, and I reckon I did my last big wedding on the weekend, but I'm actually a guest at 2 weddings in the next 3 weeks, which is crazy. It's exciting. And then I've got a little elopement and we've got a wedding together, but that's our last one. So it's wild. This weekend, do you know what? This weekend is the first weekend that I can actually say I don't have a lot of work on. I've got a newborn shoot on Saturday morning, and then I'm actually going to an event Saturday afternoon, and then Josh and I are going away for a night to a music festival.
You got to clarify which Josh you're talking about.
I know. My Josh. But we also, our business is Josh and I's new business. Fuck, I can't even talk. I'm sorry, everybody. Is launching soon. So that's...
Can you talk about it at all? Can you talk about it?
Yeah. Well,
what is it?
Essentially it's a... It's I don't even know how to explain it. I've never had a product-based business, and that to me is very exciting. I've always wanted it, but I've always been terrified.
Personalized glass.
Personalized, like glassware, wedding event, anything to do with that. So obviously I'm a photographer in the wedding industry, and my partner is a caterer in the wedding industry, and he's been in the industry for a long time, but we basically are just going to start supplying. It sort of started with etching. It's kind of etching on glassware. So it sounds crazy, so random. But like he's part owner in some bars in Adelaide. And if you go to bars and pubs and wineries and stuff, you'll always notice there's the logo etched on the glass. So that's where it sort of stemmed from. And they obviously do that quite frequently. So his bars get that service a lot. So, we just thought we'll give it a go. And now it's become bigger than Ben-Hur, and it's very exciting. But our goal is to do commercial stuff like that and etch on glassware for commercial companies, businesses, wineries, pubs, things like that. But then this second side of it, which I'm really excited about, is the individual or personalised glassware for, say, wedding days, brides, grooms, kids, events, anything. We can literally etch on anything, but we're starting with glassware. So we, got this really cool UV glass etching machine, which is currently in my office.
Yeah, it looks like something from NASA.
It's huge, but it's exciting. And it's because we ended up getting a UV, which we'll go into it more because it's boring and people probably don't care, but we do. But it's a very good quality one. So it actually etches in the glass. So whereas a lot will just print on the glass.
Yeah.
So
and
we've
your
been-
son, wrote something the
Yeah,
other day.
so I
and you-
tested it the other day, which is cool because I got my son to write something on a piece of paper and he wrote, "I love you, mummy." So cute. And then I converted that. So I've had to learn another side of AI.
So you scanned his drawing.
I scanned it and then I put it into Illustrator, which I've honestly not really used a lot. So I had to learn that whole process. And then once I got the AI file, we put it into our software program that connects to the glass machine. And then what he had written, I etched onto a glass.
Yeah, that's
So
cool.
I love you, mummy, in his handwriting is on the glass. So we're going
Yeah.
to try and get into that. But we're trying to, having a product-based business website is so different to what we've ever done. So the e-commerce side and, getting the shop and all of that.
Oh, yeah, the website structure is very
It's
different.
wild. And that's not my area of
I
expertise,
love that
but
kind of stuff.
it's full on. But it's exciting. So we're
I
obviously
wonder if people with pets could get the paw of
anything.
their dog.
Yeah.
And then
So that's what we want to try and do eventually. But it's just, how do we do that? How do people send it to us? What do we charge? Because it did take a fair bit of time, but that kind of stuff's really cool. So so it's all that. But then obviously we've had to source stuff like packaging and printing and how we're going to package stuff and being glass, obviously.
and how to do it in volume.
Australia Post suck and they throw shit. How many stuff I ever got that's been broken? So we're trying to find a way to package it so it's,
Yeah.
easily transportable.
And use a private delivery, or if you do go
if we
through
do go
Auspost, how do
Australia
you
Post,
pack
yeah,
it
because
so
they
that it
don't
can-
have a
yeah.
fragile service
It's
anymore.
kind of cool. You're in the problem solving stage of
But it's
building a
fun.
business.
We're learning a lot and, we don't know. It's scary as well because we don't know how busy we're going to be. We could be quiet. We could be fucking crazy. Who knows? But, we obviously want this. It's fun to kind of have a business together, I guess. It's our little love child, I guess. And it's nice to come together with both our experience in the industry and, sort of provide a different service. Because how many weddings do we go to on the wedding day and they all have a glass that says bride or groom or groomsman or their name or whatever. But we just want to provide something a little bit different. So,
Yeah, that's cool. I like it.
it's exciting. But you know what? I'll just pop that into the spare time that I have and it's going to be fun.
That's hilarious. Well, should we wrap it? That's another one done and dusted. You got anything else you want to talk about?
No, I feel like I've just shit on the industry the entire podcast, so that's fun. Seems very negative. I will apologize for that. I'm not trying to be negative.
I don't
It's
think you
just
shut on
I've-
anything.
Look, I feel like I'm at the stage where I want to not give a fuck like Josh Hargett doesn't give a fuck, but I also am scared to be like that as well in some sense.
Yeah, but you're not that.
No, I'm not at all. But also if I feel strongly about something, this is probably one of my biggest weaknesses, or it could be a strength, I don't know. If I feel strongly about something, I really want to talk about it, like that person that put their phone in front of me or, a vendor we've had a shitty experience with. But I'm also very open to Josh Hargett getting on a podcast and bagging the shit out of me for 45 minutes if that's what he feels like doing. Like, it's your prerogative because everybody has an opinion and everyone's entitled to opinion. No one's right or wrong. So, yeah, I guess I just feel like I've just expressed my feelings on a public forum, which is probably a bad idea.
I don't think anyone
But
said
anyway.
anything that is bad.
Well, you maybe should probably go back and have a nap now. If I will let you
No,
go.
I need to get up. I'll probably
You
have
need
a
to
second
edit.
coffee. I need to
Actually,
work. I got a lot of work to
Don't
do.
have a nap. You need to get on that computer and not fucking leave.
I do. I genuinely think I've got about 4 or 5 weeks of just proper full days
Yeah.
of just getting through weddings. So
I know we harp on about it, but fuck, it's a lot. And then everyone's like, why don't you just get AI to do it? Because I think I've tried.
there is so
I've
many
tried.
people that I talk to
I
that are
know.
doing AI, and it's interesting.
It's
'cause
smart.
if you can get away,
Yeah.
and this is what I'm talking about with certain products and people doing
Mm.
different things. Is there are people that use AI, and AI does 95% of what they do. I
Yeah.
can't do that as a videographer. It just
No.
doesn't work. But
But also, when my experience with it, when I did it, I felt like it took me more time to do all the entering, the tweaking.
yeah, apparently the amount of work that you need to
Yeah.
do in order to get it to work is quite.
So for
a
me,
lot.
it was easier to just stick with my process and actually do it myself because then I know my processes. I don't like change a lot. Like, I like my process. I like being involved in that. I like editing it the way I want it to be edited. it's my choice and I need to stop complaining about having no time, but it's also something I choose to do. So it is what it is. But do you know, in saying that though, Chat GPT has been a game changer for me lately. Like, unbelievable. People need to use that more often. Like, fuck, it can do anything. And the best tip I got, right, is you have to talk to her like it's an actual person. You have to say please and thank you, be polite, because it reacts to that. And it actually, like, you have a conversation with a friend. It is literally written.
Have you tried out the mode where on your phone where you actually have a conversation with it? It's
well, that's how I do both of them now on my computer and on my phone, and it remembers everything.
But do you know what I'm referring to? The actual, you don't type to it. You actually have
talk. Yeah.
And you can,
it's wild.
You know, I've gone for walks and I'm like, I need to know about this, and I'll actually have a conversation with a robot.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, what is wrong with me?
I'm lonely.
Can you have a conversation with me for the next 60 minutes while I'm on this walk?
I'm feeling lonely. Can we chat? That's hilarious. But anyway, yeah. Well, we're going to go. We are going to actually get shit done today. And Brad needs a coffee. Another one.
All right, that's a wrap. That's another one done and dusted. www.bradandkarina.com.au for all our packages, information, and our work. Go see our work.
Yeah,
go see what we do.
Look at our photos and video. We put a lot of love into those.
Oh, God.
Fuck me.
Anything you want to say before we wrap?
Do you know what? We said today we don't want to talk about weddings at all, and we've literally talked about weddings
the whole time.
Wow. No, that's it. That's enough for today, I think. I think we've rambled and we'll be back with some non-wedding content, potentially.
Well, for the next 6 months.
Yeah, that's actually true. Maybe that's a good thing we're talking about weddings, because we're unemployed for 5 months of the year.
Thank you for listening.
Thanks, guys.
We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Ciao.
Bye.
Bye.